We live, people. Well, that was way too loud. Too excited, people. I know it's Friday, but calm down, Deluded. Let's do that again. People, Deluded. I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. Good afternoon to you, lot, people. It's afternoon over here. You know, it's Friday. It's the best day of the week. You know, we're one step closer to seeing Arsenal or whatever team you guys support, because I'm well aware a lot of you tune in from other places. Please make sure you're hitting that like button on your way in, man. And you know, I really appreciate the members. I really appreciate the commitment levels, because I see a couple of you in the chat, to be fair. And I know I just said it's 2 p.m. over here. It's 1 a.m. in Australia for Live from Planet X. As usual, I appreciate your support, my guy. Get some sleep, though. That's a madness, man. Get some sleep. This video will be here in the morning, though. That's an absolute madness. Shy guy, there he is. You know, he's out here with the people. I appreciate you, AM, each and every time. And like he said, please make sure you're hitting the like button while you're watching. It doesn't cost a thing. Come on, DG Nation. I appreciate each and every one of you. And it's never quite a live stream, a Deluded Gooner live stream, if Omar isn't involved, man. You know, between my channel and the rest of them, I don't know how he has the time to always be there, but he's active, man. And who cares? I see there's 10 people tuned in so far. There's 14 likes. So far, we're off to a good start, man. I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you're all in good spirits. You know, big up yourself, Lawrence, man. All the way from Oxford, place I've never seen, but I know it's over here in England. So yeah, man, it's a town I'll put on my list because it's sad. But apart from London, I ain't seen too much. What was that area? Even in London, there was, is it Ostrich or something like that? There's one mad area near Barnet. My guy said the other day, and I was like, stop making up areas. And he showed me it's a legit place. It's like, wow, I'm not seasoned at all in that regards. I appreciate you, Mohammed. I'm doing well, man. It's Friday. You know, a big goal for me was to kind of learn a little bit more about thumbnails, and obviously you can see them. I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm further than I was last week. And you know, it's something I wouldn't think I'd be able to do now. I kind of get the concepts, and it's just down to me to obviously get my feet wetter and wetter and in it and get more experience. So yeah, man, I'm crushing what goals I need for this week. Obviously, the YouTube takes care of itself if the content's there, always consistent as ever. Yeah, man, it's been a good week for me. Today's a bit of a mad one because you lot can't see, but a window's getting put in here, so a better window. And it was a bit of a manic one, you know, will he, won't he come, and all of these sort of things. I thought I wouldn't even have time to live stream into the evening, and if what was initially agreed was going to happen, then I would have streamed at 11 a.m. So there's sometimes you can't react to things. There's no matter how much I plan, sometimes things happen that is out of your control, and it is what it is. So it's been a decent week for me, man. Henry has said, big up DG, keep doing your thing, soon to blow. If only I had £1 for every time I've heard that, Henry. I appreciate that regardless, though. We keep working, we keep moving, man. Big up all the Twitch gang as well. I know there's not many of you, but I know there's at least 1 or 2 of you tuned in there. So I hope you're well and safe. Malachi, appreciate you each and every time as well. So yeah, man, Sunday, Arsenal versus Leeds versus Arsenal. We're going to get into it, but it hasn't sunk in. We're playing football in the weekend for me yet. I'm still in holiday mood. I know a couple people have been in the FA Cup, and teams better yet have been in the FA Cup, and I would have loved for Arsenal to still be in that, but I feel we've needed that rest. Obviously, the players, we've been, you know, people are getting injured, as you've seen with PARTEY and the rest of it. And the rest of it. I think we needed this. The fans needed it. I certainly needed it with all the live streams and things. I think we needed this week to kind of cool and relax and just see what they're saying against Leeds. The players needed it. I think you can train and all of these things are valid, but I think you need to sometimes quantify things. And as you know, Arsenal Football Club were going into a very tough run of games. You know, it's an important February. The last 2 tests in February, we've let ourselves down. We now need to make sure it's not a third time. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You know, third time we're gonna have some other things to say, man. So we'll have to see what happens. Like Ahmad said, please hit the thumbs up button, people. Lawrence has said, it's amazing how committed you are and the quality. Do you have another job? Hey, I'm here, aren't I, man? So I have to keep progressing, I have to keep trying. No, we got 2 feet in this thing, people. But I did for a while balance that out, as you lot could all see with. I know a lot of you that are tuned in, you remember the pigeons and all the madness that was at Soho and Camden, and you know, I'm pretty sure I've shot a video on just about any place I've been across and been able to. So it's been a long journey for those of you that have joined the DG hype train, and if you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm pretty sure it's in, I guess it's the bottom left for me, it'd be the bottom right for you. Hit that button, people. So yeah, it is what it is, firmly in that regards, people. Really and truly, have I what I can't lie to you lot, people. You lot caught me off guard. Am I actually even prepared for this live stream? I think I am. I think that's everything I want to speak about. So why waste any more time? Let's crack straight into stuff, people. Before we actually get into Arsenal versus Leeds, you know, because we're gonna be here for a minute. I want to talk about what Arteta has to say, my own opinions, and all of those sort of things. Let's quickly check. Let me quickly just show you guys something. It come across, you know, it's nothing groundbreaking and all of these sort of things, and I'm sure you've all seen it across various reports, but I'm doing a live stream. It came across. So let's see what's happening here, people. Fabrizio Romano says Arsenal was seriously trying to sign Ace Dub the new Iniesta in January. Speaking on the Here We Go podcast, Fabrizio Romano has claimed that Arsenal tried to sign Ricky Puig from Barcelona in January on loan with an option to buy. The young midfielder had been previously linked with a loan move to Leeds United, but it seems as though Arsenal were well in the race to sign him last month. He's previously been linked with Spurs as well. I would have loved him to come to this club, man, because I think Ricky Puig's a very good player. I think he's one of them, though, that are probably over loyal to a cause. Like you saw, maybe Sergi Sampo, if he left, he could have developed and been a real player. Some of you are probably scratching your head and saying, who is that? I would have taken Ricky Puig for several reasons. He's 21 years of age. There's resale value. He's a creative sort of player that could address an area that we have. So, yeah, it would have made sense. Clearly, Odegaard was our first choice target. He was probably a contingency plan that Barcelona did try and loan him out in the summer, made it abundantly clear, or better yet, Ronald Koeman made it abundantly clear chances would be tough to come by. So, yeah, we tried to buy Ricky Puig, but as you can see in quotations, let's go back to the Premier League and let's reveal the behind the scenes of some of the past transfer window between two clubs. One is Arsenal and one is Barcelona. At the start of the window, Arsenal was seriously trying to sign Ricky Puig on loan with a buy option in a similar deal as Odegaard, also with Ricky Puig at Barcelona. I mean, we ain't got a buy option. Barcelona said, well, let's see with Coleman if he wants to keep the player, if he wants to play. Let's see. Let's wait some weeks. Then in the middle of Jan, they said, no, Ricky Puig is not moving. We are keeping him. So, yeah, that's probably why I'm not saying, you know, that's probably why we had to put all our eggs further in the Odegaard basket, you know, in that we needed to sign someone. He's not getting playing time. Similar to Odegaard, he's at a big Spanish club. He's struggling for minutes. So you can see why we'd want to go for him, people. So that's that in that regards to Ricky Puig. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Don't be afraid to do such. What has Cam said? Considering the financial state of Barcelona, I'm surprised they didn't sell. True, to be fair, but maybe it all depends what Arsenal offered. Again, loan with an option to buy don't necessarily scream permanent and things like that. Big up the Twitch gang. Please make sure you're supporting the thing on Twitch. Deluded Gooner 187. Zach has said, I know I'm reaching, but we are 9 points away from Liverpool, who are fourth. And I guess before I read the rest of it, my guy, that's the key word of this paragraph. If we beat Leeds and Liverpool lose to Leicester, we'd be 6 points off of Liverpool and a maximum 8 points if fourth in all scenarios. I hear you, my guy. And, you know, that's why for me, I'm even harder on our team because, you know, this is a season where you're not going to finish in a certain area because a team is massively clear of the other. If you don't get top 4, top 6, top 10, survive relegation, all of these teams in the league, it's your own fault. Because nobody's making a meal of this Premier League. It's only been Man City really of late, and they've even had their struggles. So I agree with you. It'll put things into context. That's why I'm harsher on us even more, my guy, because we're costing ourselves. Same way you said if we beat Leeds and Liverpool, that's true. But if we took 4 points against Crystal Palace, you know, if we started the game well against Villa, if that red card doesn't happen, starting off with David Luiz's mistake, how many points do we claw back? That's your 9 points already. And for me, even though I agree, my guy, it's the one theme I get from that is our season's not in our control. You know, the one things we can control, being consistent, all of these things, we need to do it and we should do it. But again, to get top 4, considering we've lost 10 games already, you need a lot to happen. It's out of our control. So I get what you're saying, but, you know, the most we can do is try and put some consistency together. Hope other teams continue to drop points. Hope Leicester better yet can do us a favor and beat Liverpool, even though we're not in that debate. So yeah, man, is what it is. Hey, big up Mr. Adlib, another member. You're right, man. See, another cultured individual, bro. Sergi Sampa was a wonder kid on FM, man. He was an FM legend. It's just a shame that he isn't going to be as held in high regard as, you know, as a proper professional in the real game, really and truly. We're going to get into it, but you've said Leeds is a good game for Oba and Odegaard to start. Aubameyang's a bit interesting because I agree, but then I don't agree. But we're gonna get into that, my guy. We're gonna get into that. Odin has said, I love the content, bro. Your background is cool. I appreciate you, my guy. Ollie, I hope you're doing well and safe. And Dermot, you know, he gets paid to come here and say the same comment, but it's appreciative all the way nonetheless, man. Henry has said, would you start Reece Nelson against Leeds? Personally, for me, he'd be on the bench. I don't expect him to be involved. Now, I hope he's involved. He had a good game against Chelsea's under 23s, as much as you can care about 23s level. I would like to see him on the bench. He's doing better. He could do no worse than Willian, but I don't think he's going to get that. We actually played Manchester United at under 23s level. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I'll be interested to see if he plays. Because again, if we look at it, Tierney and Partey, they don't all play in the same positions, but them two are not in the matchday squad. Surely by default, even Nketiah weren't in the last matchday squad and Joe Willock's on loan. Surely matchday squad numbers on that bench open up, because Nelson's even found it tough to even get on the bench in recent weeks. So it's more of a wasted season if he's not involved. I wouldn't start him, but he'd definitely be on the bench for me. You know, I think the only people I'm considering starting in those positions that Reece Nelson occupies is Saka, Pepe, Martinelli. You know, again, the conversation for Aubameyang. I don't think Willian and Reece Nelson right now are in any conversation about starting for Arsenal in a game where we need to react and react fast, with all respect, man. Mohammed has said 60 people watching and only 30 likes. Hit the L, ladies and gentlemen. You heard the man. Please make sure you hit that like button. Whatever you said, my guy. Adil has said, well, go on, bro. Love the consistency. Listen, to get anything in life, you got to be consistent. So let's keep it up in everything we're doing, people. And I appreciate you lot for tuning in. I'm good, my guy. I'm good until Sunday, you know. I think on the Sunday morning, I'll wake up with a bit of knots in my stomach and a bit scared in relation to the game we have approaching us against a tough Leeds team, in my opinion. But we'll have to see what happens. Enrico said, you watching the Arsenal under 23s game tonight? I'll leave you to answer that question, man. I always see you in the live stream. You're smart enough to answer that, man. So, yeah. Moving away from that as well, people, and we'll specify a bit on it more, and we'll circle back. What's all that? Yo, what's all that from CONCACAF and all that? What's all of that? I don't know what that is on their website, but you know, we'll get into the Thomas Partey stuff in a second, people, more in depth in relation to what Arteta's had to say, people. But as you lot can see here, big up my guy James. He's reported on CBS. Thomas Partey questionable for Europa League tie versus Benfica with hamstring problem. Now, that scares me, people. That scares me because, again, I don't know. I'm a fan. I don't know Partey's true fitness. And to the degree, has he ever been fit this season in hindsight? He's only completed 90 minutes a handful of times. You never attached Partey's name with injuries and things like that. So I don't know what Arsenal are doing right and wrong in that regard. But to not have him against Benfica is a massive blow for me, because Europa League's looking like our last meal ticket out of here, really and truly. So we'll have to see what happens. But as you can see with James, he said Partey will miss this weekend's game against Leeds United with a hamstring injury. Thomas Partey faces a race against time to be involved in Arsenal's Europa League round of 32 tie against Benfica as he works to recover from a hamstring injury. I'm not going to read the rest, but as you know, when he was injured against Aston Villa, he had to come off, people. Apparently, Arsenal are hopeful that his absence will not be a lengthy one. There remains some doubt over what role, if any, he'll be able to play in the two-legged tie against the Portuguese side. So in terms of logistics, we already know logistics is going to be ridiculous. Just the sheer manic. We're playing in Greece and Italy. Obviously, that's sandwiched in between the games we've got against Man City and things like that. So it's going to be manic from all aspects on and off the field as a football club. To not have players, actual good players, it's not rocket science. You play your better players, you have more of a chance of winning. It's a massive blow. As you can see, Arsenal allegedly said in a statement, Thomas sustained a strain to his left hamstring during last Saturday's match at Aston Villa and will miss the match against Leeds on Sunday. Thomas will continue to be assessed and rehabilitate from this injury. Arsenal have not given a timescale on when he'll be back, so it's a significant blow. The only thing I could say to our club is that we need to issue the rallying cry. Injuries are part and parcel of it. It's down to the rest of the boys to stand up to be counted. And as I've said previously, people, even more reason is because we're at the most difficult part of the season now. Games are coming thick and fast. They're becoming of greater importance now. You can't really look at which games you can afford to drop and not take seriously and all of those sort of things. So we're going to need a reaction and need a reaction instantly, people. please make sure you're hitting the like button. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. So it is what it is in relation to that. What else have we got? We've spoken on that. We've spoken on that. People, just a quick one. If this really is our kit, I can't lie, man. I know we shouldn't buy the kits from the Cronkies and all those sort of things, but like my man here said, take my money, man. I'm like, this is the concept kit, I assume, for our away shirt for next season, people. Crazy. What do you lot make of it? Please hit the like button and let me know. And you know me, I'm a sucker for the yellow ones. As you can see here, people, you know, as you can see, it's probably just a concept kit. You know, it could be real, it could be fake, but it's quite wavy. I can't lie to you. Quite a good concept, man. You know, like Life from Planet X has said it. I'm buying one for sure. I can't blame you, my guy. I cannot blame you. So yeah, man. There's no official confirmation on it, as you can see here, but it is what it is. And here's some other concept kits, people. You know. To be fair, I was about to discard this one, but the more I look at it, it looks decent. And you got this one. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, T is saying he's not a fan. It needs something more. Fair play. I think it's decent though. Be fair, yeah, that's a shout from this Nick guy. It could just, you could just keep the normal kit, the normal badge, rather than that. Man said his pops will be all over it. So yeah, it looks decent, but I don't know, man. Bro, they have us, bro. They have us. They always bring out a nice kit and then we go round in circles. Away from that, though, people, and I'm doing a very bad job on one hand because I should be keeping timestamps. Apologies, people, really quickly. These are things that will be covered in across the thing. What have we spoken about? PARTEY, kit, etc. Sorry, people, that's the timestamp. Moving away, and we've got to talk about the game from a tactical point of view in a bit, people. But we got a long way to go. Got a long way to go. Big up MJ. Big up MJ. Worse with Life for Planet X said, we'll look out. We'll look out the. I assume you mean we'll look out for the annual DG kit review. You know me. I love a kit review. They cost an arm and a leg, but it's gonna need to be done, man. You know, it's gonna need to be done. I'm good, my guy. Abu has said, love the Adidas kits. Too bad it's during horrible seasons, man. To be fair, whole heap of seasons have been terrible and we've always had nice kits. So at least we look wavy, man. And they got us by the balls, man. We buy these expensive kits. We get a little bit of optimism and then we're back around, man. Like Turkish normally says, we're going around in roundabouts, but it is what it is, man. We signed up for this life. People want to speak about Joe Willock. As you lot know, all that matters is where you start and end the loan spell. You know, he's going to have good moments. He's going to have bad moments. You know, his future is still in the air. He might have a future at Arsenal. He might not. He might stay on loan again. One thing it'll be interesting in, he's only played, you know, one game for Newcastle. But once you're exposed to playing consistently or having a look in, I don't believe as a footballer he can go back. So I think an honest conversation is going to have to be had between Joe Willock and Arsenal, where they see him. Can he get significant minutes? In which he might. You know, I think Maitland-Niles, Guendouzi, El Nene, these sort of Ceballos, these sort of guys won't be here next year. And we'll bring in a midfielder or two. But you'd imagine Joe Willock potentially with an extra season under his boot might be able to do something, people. Apologies very quickly, just before I forget where I actually started speaking about such people. But going back to this, as you lot can see, people, Joe Willock has said he's laid a foundation to build upon. You know, he's built a foundation to build upon after making an immediate impression. You know, he's got to show he can keep going. He's going to go through tough moments. He's going to go through bad moments. I just want to see a bit of quality. Can you show me a bit of, I'm not saying he has to get 10 goals, 10 assists, but I just feel when you attribute Joe Willock right now, it's a lot of industry. I need a bit more design. You need to find that balance. I think he can have a future, but we need to see some quality. As you lot know, the 21-year-old scored the opener last week, and he's only made 16 appearances for Arteta this season. In relation to his last game, he said, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder when the final whistle went. I wanted to make a good start. I wanted to score. I wanted to get 3 points. And when the whistle went, I knew I'd done that. So fantastic weekend. He said, it's a starting point for me to push on. I wanted to set a good foundation, and I was so happy when he blew the whistle. I've set that foundation now. I want to push on and hopefully build upon it. When I scored, it was a brilliant feeling. I wish the fans were there for me to do a knee slide and run in front of the crowd, but I couldn't do it, so I celebrated with the team. I'm here to help the team in any way which they want me to. When I came here, I wanted to help the team with that bit of pace in midfield, travel from one box to the other and get to the front men quicker and arrive in the box and score goals like I did. So I feel I can add to the team and hopefully it continues. And that's what I want to see from Joe Willock. I think that is his role, box to box. You know, one thing I want to see is, like he said, I want to see that box to box, but I want to see a bit more quality with the ball, because he only attempted to pass the ball 16 times in that game, as good as he was. That tells me what I already know about Joe. There's a lot of industry. I need to see that fine tuning, because as you lot have seen, when we're underdogs in games or we need runners, Joe's got that. But when we're playing against low blocks and things like that, if you're on that field, Joe, I need to see you can offer something. I think too many people have written Joe Willock off already. I think he can have a future here. I think he can't have a future here. I think he can, because I think he could be a decent squad player up. It's down to him what he wants to do with that. I think he's got the energy. I think he can. I don't know if he can become a goal scoring midfielder, but he shows an ability to want to get in there. I need to see a bit more technical quality, but I think he could have a role here. I want him to have a role here. If not, just by being exposed to Newcastle and playing in the Premier League, and even if he stayed there for another year, Arsenal need to get a little decent, a bit of money off that. And who knows? You can't really write off a 21-year-old. Do I think he's going to be the best midfielder in the world? Of course not. But I do think he could offer something to Arsenal Football Club. And we've said it. We've seen it there. He wants to add pace. He wants to travel with the ball. He wants to score goals. He wants to be a good team player. You've got it there, people. The Newcastle shirt ain't as heavy. Good for him. Go play with that freedom. And that's what he needs. He needs to get out of being with the whole Arsenal stuff. But at the same time, you know, he needs to go out and prove himself. Newcastle don't care that you're Joe Willock out of Hayland. They're trying to get their season on track. There's pressure on the manager. Can you come and help them? And that's what he needs. He needs to train, because it can knock your confidence, really, if you're training, your manager's telling you this, that, and the other, but you're not really playing. You know, Steve Bruce has talked him up good and he's played him, and you know, it's in our best interest for these to have good loan spells. And as he said here, coincidentally, people, Steve Bruce said to me, I know that's your quality. I know that's what you love to do. I'll give you the freedom to go. And don't worry, there are players behind you that can back you up. So again, it's the box to box thing, people. I'd rather him be able to find balance and be able to do that. And it's like Life from Planet X said here, you never know with Joe Willock. He could develop into a decent option. If not, let's make some cash. And that's the only reason I'm vexed on our academy players. You know, if Maitland-Niles don't make it here, if Balogun didn't want to sign a new deal, you know, if Eddie's not quite good enough, if Nelson doesn't hit the mark, of course I want them all to make it here, people. But make cash. You know, first and foremost, it's about making players for our first team. If some players can't do that, or they need to go to another club to hit it off and become that, and we might look at them in 10 years and say, how did it work here? That's how football works. But we need to get top money. We need to make cash, people. Keeping up with Joe Willock, apparently, when I decided to come here, I had a sense of peace. I didn't ever feel like it was going to be the wrong decision when I came here. Everyone was so welcoming. My first day, everyone was speaking to me. I was speaking to the manager. That is when I knew it was the right decision. And to score my debut and to get 3 points is an even bigger plus. I'm trying to focus on what I have to do now. Focus on Newcastle. I'm not really looking at Arsenal at the moment. Now, let's not be naive, Joe. You are, you know, you're thinking about it. But at the same time, you can't think about it. It's irrelevant. What Arsenal is doing now, he's got to look at. I'm not an Arsenal player anymore for a couple of months. If I do my job on the pitch, of course, let the media and Match of the Day and us and me on YouTube, we'll do the conversation. Does Joe Willock have a future here? It serves no purpose for him to go out there and talk about it. If he did say I'm thinking about Arsenal and stuff like that, it's not the worst of things. But I would have commitment problems with him if I was a Newcastle supporter or Steve Bruce. I'll question your commitment. It's the same way with Ceballos. If I'm playing devil's advocate, you know, we know you came here to play regular football to ultimately break in at Madrid. But when you're at every point talking about the goal is to go to Madrid and things, on one hand, yeah, you play good here, you go off to do that. But on the other hand, especially when we're not in the best of form, we're looking at it like, do you really care? Because you're not going to be here. So he's right. He just needs to focus at Newcastle. And he said, I'm here to prove to Newcastle United that I can play every week and affect games and win games for them. Simple as that. He wants to prove that I'm a Premier League player. I can play week in, week out. Everything else will take care of itself. I'm not really looking at Arsenal. When that time comes for me to make a decision to go back or not, that will come. But right now, I'm focused on Newcastle, and I'm loving every minute that I'm here. So I think a lot of conclusions has been drawn by everybody, including Joe Willock there, in relation to his future. You lot can see what I watch when I'm not doing podcasts. Big up Delinquent Nation prison podcast. Young Spray talks about his experience inside prison. I love a bit of this sort of stuff. Shout out them man there. So yeah, it is what it is. We'll have to see what happens in relation to Joe Willock, people. We'll firmly have to see. And for me, we just, as long as you make top dollar, who cares? So it is what it is. What are you lot saying in the comments, people, before we preview the game? Please make sure you're hitting that like button. Run up the like button, please, people. It would definitely appreciate that, and please don't take it for granted. It does mean the world, people. It really does. Moving away from that, though, what a stylish said. Ainsley Maitland-Niles lacks the urgency to play in midfield. He's too lax, and I think you can teach that, though. I think the penny kind of needs to drop for the player. I don't want to rule him out at midfield, but I think it's a fullback thing. I just think, regardless of if it's fullback or midfield, until he gets a bit more urgency in his play, he needs to find balance. He ain't really going to develop, man. Do you think Ainsley Maitland-Niles will ever have a future in Arsenal's midfield? You can't rule it out. I'd like to see him get given an opportunity, but there's been different managers here. Nobody's given him that opportunity. He's finally got it at 23 odd years of age now at West Brom, and he's been within the first team for numerous times now. So I don't know. I just want him to return back to Arsenal. Are you a midfielder able to play right back, or are you now right back that's able to fill in midfield? You need to become a specialist and then able to play everything. And it's like Sandro said, big up yourself. Ainsley Maitland-Niles can ball, but it's up to him now, I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles is gone. I don't want him to be gone, but I think he's leaving Arsenal. I think the players on loan, with the exception of Joe, they're putting themselves in the shop window. It's just down to them, man. It's really down to them what they do with that. I don't even think it's a goals thing for me with Joe. Obviously I want midfielders that score goals, definitely at Arsenal Football Club, because we haven't really had them. But I just want to see a bit of quality on the ball. It just seems a bit like Joe Willock is a lot of gear, no idea at times, really. Because when it's games with a low block, games where not underdogs, I don't see a bit of quality in that regard. So we'll have to see what happens, man. Big up everybody locked in. Big up yourself, Claudius, man. Appreciate all of you locked in. Big up the 95 of you, man. I said, big up George, whatever you said. What's going on, DG? Happy Friday, bro. Happy Friday, right back at you. I'm good. I'm well. I'm good, man. So I can't complain. What have we got here? Smack my B-Lick up. This name always kills me. Martin Odegaard is likely to make a permanent move to Arsenal if Zinedine Zidane remains in charge of his permanent club, Real Madrid. I would love that. I don't want to draw too many conclusions on Odegaard because I haven't seen anything of what he can do in an Arsenal shirt. Decent little cameo against Villa, but he ain't played minutes. So be wary of drawing conclusions as to whether we should move for him and all of these things. But ain't that more of what we already know, my guy? In that, it's alleged that Zidane is leaving regardless at Real Madrid. So that might tell you it there. Obviously, he can't get into Zidane's way of playing or in his playing squad. So it make sense. Obviously, if he had a blistering season at Arsenal, it strengthens his case for Zidane to use him. But I don't think it would make sense. And it's a bit like Ceballos, like, I don't know if I can find it. Let me try and find it. But I'm so sure between yesterday and today, I came across Real Madrid are open to selling Dali Ceballos for about 20 million euros. But I can't. On my life, I saw that, but I can't find it. Open for sale. Let me see. Yeah, I can't find it, but there's rumors even Dani Ceballos is open for sale. So we'll have to see. And, Real Madrid have to sell to raise funds. You hear them linked with Camavinga, with Paul Pogba, with Mbappe, even with Neymar, to do Haaland, to do all these things. You're going to need serious outlays. I think he's gone. I think Zidane, as an outsider looking in, I think Zidane is gone. So I do think Odegaard is going to have a future there. So he's got nothing to worry about kind of in that regards. We'll have to see, but it's in his best interest. If he plays well, Real Madrid, the people above Zidane, even if Zidane stays, might say, listen, you've got to play him. Or the new manager might get him. Or, he might get a team that's not quite as big as Madrid, bigger than Arsenal playing in the Champions League going for him. So it's in his best interest to have a good season, people. We'll get on to it. But for me, Odegaard has to start. Not that he has to, but he has to start against Leeds. I feel a bit dirty taking Smith Rowe out the team. I think you've got to force Smith Rowe into the team. I do think there's a reality you could go with both, but realistically, that's punching. We're going to get into it, but let me see what you lot in the comments are saying. My man, Sarah has said, would you take back Ramsey if you had the chance? On a cheapish sort of loan, why not? I don't think, away from the emotion, I don't think it's the thing. I'm a big Aaron Ramsey fan, if you as you lot that follow me on my channel know, but I just feel myself, even with Aaron Ramsey, I romanticize Aaron Ramsey as an Arsenal player in a sense of, I don't know if he was, there was too many seasons he was consistently good over a 38-game period. I know it might have been 2013-14 where, the season he scored Norwich away, he had a blistering season and stuff like that. But I don't know if he's consistently good over a 38-game period. Obviously, Ramsey has had very good games. Ramsey's had very good. He's obviously had very good games. He's won us an FA Cup. He's done what he's needed to do. But I just feel it's romance behind him, and due to his injury record, the finances involved, it's no point. And in terms of longevity, I'm not one of these people who cry when someone's 30 odd years of age, but you're not getting much for a 30-year-old that's subject to a lot of injuries. And you look at David Luiz, based on we're told that he might be given a new deal. Aubameyang, you factor in if Lacazette was given a new deal, Williams on big money, and Ramsey's brought in, you're suddenly back into square one with mismanagement of wages. It's like what Sanjo is saying. Ultimately, Ramsey's too hot and cold, and he would make a difference here. We could do a lot worse, especially if our financial structure is poor. I wouldn't be against it, but it wouldn't be. That would be like a contingency plan. I want us to have significant targets or significant scenarios of what we want to do in the transfer window. And then in this hypothetical world, if everything went down the toilet and couldn't work, then maybe, for me, the Ramsey thing would scream desperation. It would scream short-termism. It would scream panic and it would scream reactive, because I'm not a Juventus fan. I can't tell you Juventus' stuff like that, but I do think Juventus would want to get him out to raise funds and things like that. You get the vibe that he's a player people are open to sell. Arsenal right now, our last couple of signings, they've not really been players that clubs really haven't wanted to sell, and no one wants to sell good players. That's football, unless you're a selling club. And you look at ours, we ain't really forced the ball out on a player. I haven't really got the vibe that a player is truly wanted beyond, the Gabriels and things like that. Even Gabriel is a sought-after player, but if he weren't at Lyon and he's at a club that didn't have to do that, it's a problem. One player, there's talk of centre-halves. I would have loved us to sign Jules Koundé when he was at Bordeaux. You see what he's on at Seville now, and he's linked with a big club every week. Emma said, Willock is full throttle with no steering wheel. There's time for him, though. Exactly, with Joe, I think he just needs to slow down. I think he's got a base level of technical ability, because ironically, I think since he's got into the first team, me as someone that likes youth football, I've seen Joe Willock he's almost a different sort of player, because final third, he had all of that. Like, he weren't quite Smith Rowe, but he was more of a final third sort of player. Since he's gone to the first team, and maybe it's the growth spurt, maybe it's just first team level. I think I said it before, under Wenger, I was first of all surprised by the other arts of the game he had, like the defensive and being able to put himself around. But I think it's time, man. I think if he just needs to show his technical level and just calm down a bit and just start putting some building blocks. That's it with Joe. I don't think he's a bad player. He's someone I would entertain offers for, but I do think he can have a future here. Who plays next to Xhaka? Boy, against Leeds, we'll get into it. I'm thinking Ceballos. I personally think it will be El Nene. So we'll have to see in that regards. See you saying move on. She ain't got no time for Ramsey. I'd be interested seeing Odegaard players in 8.5 against Leeds. I did flirt between suggesting that, but then I thought, what, is that the wisest of things? In theory, it might be, because we're at home. We should be on top of them. But if we know what Leeds are, and we're going to get into it in a sec. If we know what Leeds are and they're good on the transition and they run a lot, it's quite an attack-centric one. So he might just go in there with a little El Nene or more of a traditional sort of centre mid, and maybe one of the Smith Rowes and Odegaards. Defo think there's a scenario where you could force Smith Rowe and Odegaard into the same team, but it all depends, man. And like you said, we could drop Smith Rowe into the 8 and Odegaard at 10. I'd rather Odegaard do the 8 stuff, to be fair, just because he's a tiny bit more experienced than Smith Rowe. But I'd want to see them swap. That's what we need. We need people swapping. Our wingers don't swap too tough. Our creative midfielders, we've only got one, are not going to swap too tough. It's a madness, really and truly. What have you said? I think you bring back Ramsey for one season and see if he can develop someone like Joe's box-to-box potential. My guy, I see where you're getting, but you know what? That's always a pet peeve of mine. I think if a player's going to develop, it's down to you. I'm guilty of that. I said in my podcast, make sure you're checking out the Deluded podcast. It came out today, people. So on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, and the rest of it. Shameless plug of that one. But open up another tag or go on your phone right now. Make sure you download that episode or you follow on them applications there. Shameless plug. You got to do. But that's a pet peeve of mine. I don't think nobody can develop another player, because if Ramsey's here, he ain't got time to dedicate towards Joe. It's down to Joe to receive that. Joe's got to look at a player and say, let's do this and that. Like on my podcast, I said, if I'm a young striker at United, or, the Martials, the Rashfords, the Greenwoods, and everyone there and about, if you let Cavani walk out of that team when the day comes he leaves, and you ain't got elite movement as well, I think you've got to slap yourself in the face. because you should be learning. But at the same time, it's not as simple as that. You can't just absorb a man's brain and stuff like that, pause and stuff like that. It don't really work like that. Smith Rowe does deserve a rest, but he's really had a week off, really. And I agree with you, but we don't really know rest. We don't know the fitness levels. It's all about people just see playing playing in the matches. It's all about the rehab. It's all about what he's doing in training. You know, some man might get the first training session back after a game day, after the recovery day. That first morning session, they might not do that. They might do something else. So it's all about how you look after him, sort of thing. We'll have to see. I do think, therefore, there's a lot of rose tints when you look at Aaron Ramsey, man. And I'm guilty of that myself. Maybe it's a confidence thing for Joe. Maybe, but I don't think Joe's lacking in confidence. I just think he needs to play games, increase that IQ and stuff like that. Because there's, one thing I'll give Joe, like Joe, the Sakas and the Martinellis, I don't see our young players hiding, even when things aren't going wrong. Joe always tries to put in a little shift and go down fighting and things like that. So we have to see, man. I think Miguel Aziz is definitely better than him, but he's behind. And even Miguel Aziz, he's a lovely player. I want him blooded in, but he's got a lot of lessons to learn. There's more to midfield than playing a simple passing. And sometimes you got to make sure you've got that concentration. I think defensively, Miguel Aziz isn't ready to play first team football consistently for Arsenal club, man. Big up live from Planet X can confirm the podcast is 30. Go and check out the Deluded podcast. I know you cheapskates got Apple and Spotify. If you haven't, go on Anchor, people. Think we will finish 9th. Psh, hope not, but who knows, people? I hope not, but who knows? Should we preview Arsenal versus Leeds, people? I think it's time to preview Arsenal versus Leeds. I'll show you some love in the comments in a second. Please make sure you're hitting that like button, people. So yeah, let's get into it. Arsenal versus Leeds, people. We know what to expect. Oh shit, I haven't even shared my screen with you guys. Apologies, people. Share my screen. Ignore these are just some notes for myself. If I make this a bit bigger for you guys, is that perfect? Of course that can't be perfect. Let's go there, people. I think Leeds are 11th and we're 10th. I should have checked the Premier League. That's the last time I looked at it. Now, I'm not going to bore you lot with things, people. You lot are not stupid. You lot know what the season is. We're halfway through this. You know how good Leeds are. You know where Arsenal have been as a team. You know the plaudits Leeds get. We know how they play. You know, they attack and defend with the same intensity throughout, rightly or wrongly. They've got one way of playing. That being said, you know, Bielsa twists and tweaks that system within game. We know they've got a world-class manager, a world-class system, and top-class players playing consistently well, people. Someone said, zoom in one more time. There you go. In fact, now that's dead, man. I can't see now. So it's going to have to stay at 150 still. You're going to have to grab your glasses. But like I said, people, we know they've got quality players. They've got a quality system. They've got a quality manager. We know, you know, Bielsa doesn't have the most decorated of CVs, but all you need to listen, if you don't know nothing about him, is how people that, you know, Pep Guardiola and these sort of people talk about him. I don't need to bore you lot. We all knew what happened the last time we played them. You know, it was 1-1. It's a point gained and 2 points dropped, depending on how you look at it, people. Literally, we know we had a red card, but we didn't start the game in the best way. And for me personally, people, this is why I want to start this game well, because for me, logically speaking, if you're going through a tough time in the season, and let's say Wolves, Leeds, and Villa, you messed up all of them, right? Let's just say, if you want to learn from your mistakes, when you're going through that similar run, surely you go into these games thinking, cool, that team battered us 3-0. I'm going to do this. Wolves, this. You know, we failed against Wolves to get a reaction. We failed against Leeds to get a reaction. I mean, we failed against Villa. We failed against Wolves. I want to see it against Leeds, and I damn well want to see it against Leicester, because if you don't, Leicester, out all these teams are going to eat you alive, you know? So again, can we put it right, people? Can we get a result? Simple as, you failed the last 2 times you went to the Midlands. You know, can you now go up to Yorkshire and get a result? Well, can that Yorkshire team come down here? You get the point. When we went up to Yorkshire, we didn't get something, people. You know, if I'm Wolves, if I'm Leeds, apologies. Honestly, I'm sitting there and saying Arsenal are lucky, you know. I'm sitting there and saying we should have taken 3 points off Arsenal. They got a point. They were lucky we couldn't break them down. It was 2 points dropped for us, a point gained, because we were calamity. Regardless of that red card, I can remember that game vividly. Pepe's an idiot for getting himself sent off in that game, but only Tierney and Saka was standing up to be counted. Our midfield was non-existent. Now, Joe Willock's gone out on loan. Xhaka, you played, so I want to see a reaction from you and every individual player that played in the same way I demanded that against Villa if he played and Wolves if he played. So we need to stand up to be counted, people. Leeds would say we're lucky. I would say, if I'm Leeds, I'm saying Arsenal got lucky. I'm saying we've given better teams harder runs for their money. You know, we all remember at our point, Leeds, the first time I knew Bielsa was on something in the Premier League, he had Pep Guardiola at their place begging for a point. Sometimes they've been poor at one place. There's been a contrast in their performances at home and away. They aren't invincible. They have dropped stupid points. But I would honestly, if I'm Leeds, I'm coming here and saying, yo, that Arsenal team overrated. We should have got 3 points. You know, they've got pressure on them. They got a frail defense. You know, they make mistakes. Let's come here and have fun. You know, if they win, less headlines are getting drawn. If they lose, you can imagine what happens on Match of the Day. You hear the way Alioski is speaking as well. They're coming here and thinking it's a joke thing. Alioski said he can't wait to play next to Pepe. So if I'm Pepe now, in a footballing sense, don't get yourself sent off this time. First 5, embarrass him on the footballing field from a footballing sense, you know, twist him up, turn him up if you play, but leave something on him in a footballing sense, you know. Let him know you're there. That's what he'd be getting treatment from me, people. I can't lie to you. That shows you where they are. Obviously, they've got people like Patrick Bamford, who is interested in Leeds' system, first and foremost. You know, you heard him say himself, Bielsa demands defensiveness, but he's scoring a high amount of goals this season, and I'm sure he wants to go off to the Euros. These are the games Southgate's watching, so he's going to want him to put a performance. For me, I want leaders. I don't just want Tierney and Saka and these handful of players I said in the last when we played them at Ellen Road. I want 11 leaders. You know, Leno comes back into the team for me. You could say Matt Ryan's hard done by, but Leno come back in and show what you're on. David Luiz wouldn't come back in, but if you play, show me what you're on. Cedric, if you play, because you play for me. If you make a mistake, you made a mistake last game, go and remind people of the good form. You know, let's reset. Any small, because it does appear there must have been a bit of complacency creeping into our game when we started winning games, you know. We start again. We're back to 0. We've lost 10 games already this season. You know, even if we win all these games, we're relying on a lot. Top 4 can mathematically, it is there. It's not going to be easy, but it's there. And it's down to these players. It's down to these players. If they want it, they'll go and get it. Like I said, there's no need to really sit here and talk about Leeds technically. We know they can hurt us on the counter-attack. We know they attack and defend with the same intensity. We know they've got Rafinha, Jack Harrison, who's starting to score goals. They've got Rafinha. You know, they've got Calvin Phillips, my personal favourite in that team. They've got a lot of quality, you know. Alioski might be an angle to get at. You know, I don't know if they're going to play Luke Ayling, or former Arsenal player, again, because he did look like he was having a tough time initially in the game we played in the reverse. And like I said, people, like you can see it here, can't afford to keep dropping points weekly and cheaply. At that, I should have added. You know, we've already got 10 league defeats, you know, so we're already on thin ice. And also, we're now getting into the Europa League. You know, after this, we've got the Europa League sandwiched in between that. I think we've got City. So you need some insurance going into that City game for one. And we need to start building some momentum. You know, for me, it's a big game if you beat Leeds. That's a bit of momentum. You can take that into the Benfica game. You get something against Benfica. You never know what can happen, people. You know, what's all of that? Apologies. When I look at Leeds quickly, as you can see in their last 5 games, people, they can be got up, but they've beat Leicester, something we can say we ain't done. They managed to ship in 2 goals against Palace. We weren't able to score against Palace. They beat Newcastle 2-1. We did that. They lost against Everton and Brighton, but forgive me if I'm wrong, the Everton game, they made it quite tricky for Everton. So, you know, if you're a defender at Arsenal, be prepared to work very hard. If you're a midfielder, you're in for a battle. If you're a striker, you're in for a battle. You know, win your individual battles. Don't get caught up in silly shenanigans, and let's walk away with 3 points. Let's not let Bielsa get any more plaudits based on this game. Let's go in there with some serious fight, drive, and intention, people. We know they play a bunch of systems, primarily a 4-1-4-1. You know, Millie, the keeper. I've watched him since he was at Lorient. He's a good keeper, but his age does show at times. Can we get at him? Can we take advantage of that? They do seem to switch off at times in terms of set pieces and following runners. Can we take advantage? Because same way they're dangerous on the transition, they're vulnerable. You know, they only really play one way. They tweak it, but they only play one way. We know their midfield is crucial, but we know wide areas. They've got 1v1 demons. If you're playing against Rafinha and them man there, you better be in for a game. We know they've got fullbacks who that's meant to have an O there who overlap. We know exactly what to expect, people. We'll get into the lineup in a second, people, but let's see what we've got here. Like you can see here, we know what they're going against. They've got a 4-1-4-1 formation. You know, if I bring in some Arsenal defenders really quickly, we know first and foremost, primarily his job is to defend. You know, defend from the front. He's going to look to press you. If you just say that's a back four, of course, you're going to have the rest of the team join him. Of course, I'm not going to move every one of those people. I'm not going to move every one of those, but primarily Bamford is there to press. So again, be in for a day. We're playing out from the back. Make sure you're there. Or equally, if he's pressing alone, that makes no sense. They might just sit off and hold their shape, which kind of brings me into this one. Arsenal have a problem breaking down low blocks. This is going to be, obviously, like you can see here on the transition, they're going to be very expansive people. They're going to get high and wide with, I assume, Harrison, maybe Rafinha and things like that. You've got Bamford, who's a threat from aerial positions. So in the same way, we haven't marked Ollie Watkins properly, and in the build-up to William Jose being fouled properly, we wasn't marking him and aware of our runners. Defenders, be aware, because this is a man in Patrick Bamford who's full of confidence, who can score in big games. He's a former Chelsea lad as well. I'm sure he want to score goals. These are the games Southgate's watching. I'm sure an analytical team to the scale of Leeds, they've therefore briefed him on our defense. Movement, communication is going to be a thing. We know their fullbacks are going to look to join them as well. So we need to be on job here. We know their midfield is going to be crucial as well. You've got Calvin Phillips, who can pick a wonderful pass. Their midfielders work hard as well. So we need to know what we're doing. That attacking transition is going to be a threat from Leeds. So we need to be wary of the counter-attack if we're caught in positions, people. Same way, I don't think Leeds are going to sit back, but Bielsa, in the same way he's coordinated going forward, there's no way he's not defending properly. You heard Patrick Bamford the other day when he's talking about what Bielsa, demands from a striker. Bamford said it's about defending first and foremost. That's the first line of defense. So like I showed you earlier, he's going to press in that, but there's going to be times where they're going to be a well-defensive unit. What do you see here? 4-1-4-1. 2 banks of 4. Obviously, you got the man sitting in. Calvin Phillips could either do that. He could either make it even flatter midfield. And it's another unanswered question for me, people. It doesn't matter if we're going against low blocks, if we're going against well-defensive units like Villa, for as good as they are going forward. Dean Smith's got them defending. We're unable to break them down. I need, on top of everything else I want to see you start well and the rest of it. I need to know if you can break them down. I don't know how Leeds are going to come to the Emirates. On one hand, I think they're going to play like they always play, coming out, seeing what we're about, attacking us. On the other hand, they might just sit back and allow us to get confidence, because both teams are frail on the transition. So we will have to see what happens in that regards. And then if it goes the way I would like it to go, where, like I said, 2 banks of 4, there's a unit, like you can see here, and then moving into this one, people, this is why I think it's a game. I'm going to get into the lineup, but this is why I think it's a game for the ballers. Like the players that we've got in this team that are technically good. Like, you can flirt between Saka. Saka will probably play on the right for me, but you could flirt between that being Saka, that being Pepe, that being Martinelli. This is why movement and how you break down a team is crucial, because if you got your fullbacks here, like I said, if the game goes like this, all of us in their half, them, 11 men behind the ball, 2 banks of 4 with Calvin Phillips and Bamford here, respectively. I want to see my team high up the field. I want to see Saka here whipping in passes. I want to see Martinelli making runs, assuming Saka here is a left back, or you could say Martinelli or whatever. Is it a game for Lacazette? Because Lacazette, on one hand, if they do play Lacazette, I do think they take him seriously. And I more should show it here. But if you imagine Lacazette is here, people, naturally, Lacazette ain't really a threat like that. You back yourself in a foot race. So like against Everton, you would see them getting higher up the field. Obviously, you'd have to stay inside. Where against Aubameyang, they might just sit back a little and say, okay, cool, F getting in a foot race with him. So that would be something to see. But I think it's a game for the ballers, because Lacazette looks to get onto the ball and connect with various players. If that's Martinelli, if that's Saka, if that's Cedric, who it should be for me, if you've got Xhaka, I assume, for everything you say about Xhaka, he can pick out a pass. I want you to feed people in the channels. I want Lacazette to show for it. It's not going to be Partey. I'd go with Ceballos again. Can you receive it off these centre halves and make something happen? You could even force Pepe out here. You could even force Odegaard or Smith Rowe out here. You could go with, let's just say this is Smith Rowe, that's Odegaard, that's Lacazette, that's whoever you want. I think Arteta has to pick his most technical players, people that are good on the ball, because we need to break down this unit. I don't want to see sideways and backwards and here and back, and eventually it finds Leno and goes here. We need to break them down. Jacques, if the ball's on, Martinelli or whoever make that run, play it in behind, or if not, take somebody with you. So this fullback don't know where to go. Can we play it in behind for an ongoing fullback like Saka in this example? He whips it behind. Obviously, you'd have to lose your man and have to be on side, but you get the point. We need movement. You know, we need movement. It doesn't matter. You know, they'll have Leeds will take this. Leeds are a well-drilled unit, and plus you have Bielsa and his coaching staff bellowing things. You know, movement. If you all stay static, obviously it's static because it's not motion graphics, but you can see how hard this is to defend. Suddenly, if Lacazette moves, these two have to have a conversation. Who's marking? You know, cover me. You know, I'm marking, cover me. Suddenly, if he doesn't listen to him and Lacazette loses his man and that ball comes in behind, you've got a decision to make, people. You know, if they're creating 2v1s out there and the winger is too narrow, the fullbacks have to talk. If this guy isn't going to get out there, then you can see how 2v1s are sorted. And then this fullback has a tough decision, people. You know, does he go out wide or does he remain? And we can look to exploit that. So team shape is going to be vital. But I want to see us get 3 points. So psychologically, you can tell me you've lost against the team and able to win. Break down a team, you know, go into a game where it's a big game for us against Leeds. They're one of the best teams in the league. Obviously, we was one of the first to play last week and we bottled it. We're going to be one of the last. You know, we're going to already see Man City versus who's Man City playing? Spurs. We're already going to see Leicester against Liverpool. Teams that, whether we're in top 4 shouts or not, we've got to look to make ground where these people drop points. So we're going to know exactly the ramifications, winning, losing, or drawing. I know some people, there's fixtures on Monday. I don't know when other people are playing, but you get the point, people. That's where I'm looking at from a tactical point of view, people. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards firmly, people. In relation to the lineup, I've got 2 lineups here, as you can see, people. My first lineup, which would probably be my A lineup, people, would be, like you can see here, Leno picks himself in goal for obvious reasons. I know Cedric didn't have the best of games, but I'd prefer Cedric to Bellerin, so Cedric will get the look in. I wouldn't bring in David Luiz for Holding or Gabriel. I'd do it for Marie, but I don't know if Marie's fit. So, and thanks for telling me. Yeah, so with the exception of Chelsea versus Newcastle, we kind of know where we stand. But, you know, I think this would remain my centre-half pairing. And Leno, no more stupid red cards. And, you know, Matt Ryan don't deserve to be dropped. He deserves to keep his spot. But at the end of the day, Leno is our best keeper. So I'm throwing him in there. We need to get a win. Cedric plays for me over Bellerin. But we all know realistically, Cedric is going to continue at left back and Bellerin's over there. If Cedric moves to right back, I know there's other things you can do. And I don't really want Saka playing here. But I'd rather Saka there. Saka would be able to combine with whoever's playing left wing. Saka's more of an out and out. He looks more like a fullback. At best, the other guys just look like stop gaps. For me, I'd go with Xhaka and Ceballos. I wouldn't be against Xhaka and El Nene. And obviously, Xhaka would be on the left, Ceballos on the right. Don't know why I've done it this way. But that would be it for me. I believe Odegaard's got a start. He looked good against Villa. He got a couple minutes against United, but we've only got him for 4 or so months. You know, the adaptation period is now. He's got to learn from playing. And as you lot know, he's on loan from Real Madrid. He wants to play and things like that. There's every reason for him to hit the ground running. The time is now. I don't think Smith Rowe should be dropped. I do know he needs a rest and things, but he's had a week off, excluding training. I would like to actually keep Smith Rowe. I wish we could play 12 players. I think Odegaard and Smith Rowe should play together. I think we saw little aspects of what they could do together against Aston Villa. Like I said in this example, people, going back, it's a game for our technical players. So I don't mind. If you're going to go Saka left back and any combination here. If you're going to go with the Smith Rowes and Odegaard here and Smith Rowe, who, you know, he looks to float all around the pitch and get into triangles. You know, Odegaard, who can pass the ball forward. Ceballos and Xhaka behind him. Holding and Gabriel, who also should be able to clip balls forward. I want people who are sound on the ball. Obviously, Leno's good with his feet, as shaky as he might be at times. But I don't care what combination it is. It's just got to be done, people. So moving back, front three. Aubameyang don't really deserve to get into the game, but I do think if I'm going Saka there, I think Martinelli could get a look in, but I'd probably go with Aubameyang. I think Lacazette, he's a baller, so he gets to play. Pepe, go and show me something on the right. My second lineup would be, I don't know why that's got a H there, but, you know, same defensive lineup as you can see here. Xhaka, Ceballos, and Odegaard as our front three. And then I'll go with Pepe, Lacazette, and Martinelli. I wish you could pick 12 players. I think Martinelli should be here. And like you can see here, I can't lie, You know, I want to force Smith Rowe into the team, people. You know, I think it's a game for those quick interception moves playing in tight spaces. That's why I wouldn't mind forcing Odegaard on the flanks, but I don't think Pepe deserves to be dropped. Equally, I don't think Aubameyang starting. I do, a part of me, and that's here, I do think Lacazette might drop out for Aubameyang because I think that's the easiest thing to do. I think that's what he's going to do personally, but I don't know. So that would be my lineup. And to be fair, I know Pepe's been good on the left and you can still go with Saka on the right. But I don't really want Cedric there. I want an out-and-out guy. And obviously, to be fair with Saka, he'd be in for a big day of defending. They've got Rafinha over on that right-hand side and stuff. Regardless, it's going to be a big day. So we're going to have to see. But that would be it for what I'm going with. And that would be it in relation to, you know, my preview of the game. Really and truly, we know what needs to be done, people. We know we need to win a game of football. We know we're dropping stupid points. You know, it's as simple as that. I don't need to bore you lot with the cliches. You know, we've lost 10 games already this season. You know, our last couple of games have been unacceptable in terms of whatever we're looking at it, we're dropping points. We need to get back on the horse and keep going forward and stuff like that. We need to get some points back. And we're going into Manchester City after this. You need to give yourself some sort of insurance. It's as simple as that. Really, it's as simple as that, people. What have you guys been saying? Big up the chat. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Twitch gang, please make sure you're doing the same over on Twitch. What have you lot been saying in the comments? Big up yourself, Josh. Ice Wallow, come. Rah. You almost had me. You almost had me. Almost. You're getting blocked for that. Hey, almost. I said the I swallow bit and then I deeped it. Bad this. You gotta wake up, man. I know it's Friday, I'm in dizzy mode, but myth. Pepe on the left. Psh. To be fair with you, I don't mind Pepe on the left, but I think people are making a lot of it. Realistically, Pepe should be able to play on the left and the right. Like Cam is saying, you know, on the left and the right, we need to have overloads. Bro, man, them almost got me, you know. I was about to go I swallow. Oof, I deeped it. Almost had me clipped up there and obviously pause and all of those things, bro. They had me. Almost had me there. Almost. But yeah, like my man said, apologies, Cam. Like you said, yeah, we need to start overloads. And at the same way, we've got to do a lot about us if going backwards. That's why, as much as I wouldn't mind Saka at left back, I would want him to go right wing, especially if Bellerin is going to be the one to play, assuming he does, because he's captain. Because of how he's going to be defensively, we're going to have to see what go on, man. We're going to have to see what go on. Nah, bro. No, I'm not accepting that, Jack. No. To be fair, it's better than the last one. What was the last one? Yesterday or the day before? There was a mad one. Serious one. But we dodged that, people. We dodged that. Bro, you know what? We all take that, man. It's Friday. I'm out of it, man. We'll give you that. It's what? It's probably like 51 to me. I've not got my clean sheet. So we'll accept that. But like Emma said, at least I've been on our neck since that FA Cup tie. As much as I'm not a fan of El Nene, but his industry will be needed. To be fair with you, you're right, man. You're right. But the thing is, you know, what is he giving us without the ball? I mean, when we have the ball, apologies. That's the thing. And as you lot can see, our midfield is quite appalling, man. Our midfield is just... I don't know. Like, I don't know. Am I very critical, people? Do I take it too far of our midfield when I say there's not much to it apart from Partey? And if I looked at it on a harsh thing, you know, we've got Partey, who's really injury prone since he's been at Arsenal. El Nene on the best of days is not good enough. He can do his thing in the underdog games. Joe Willock's not a thing right now. Guendouzi and Torreira are not a thing. Odegaard and Ceballos, no matter how good or bad they play, they're not Arsenal footballers. So, permanent Arsenal footballers. So they might not be here next season. Like, am I wrong in saying that? Am I wrong in saying we need 2 centre midfielders minimum, people, to before we can do anything as a football club? I do think we need it. I think you need someone that can play instead of Partey. I do think you need someone that can be played with Partey. I don't know, man. It just and also, I know midfield. I'd say goal scoring midfielders are a rarity today and age, but we don't have some. We don't have any. Like, we don't have any. I'm not trying to moan and groan and all those things, but you know, widespread, there's not many goal scoring midfielders. Like in the Prem, who would you guys say are goal scoring midfielders? Bruno, obviously. I guess you could throw Gundogan in there. You know, actual centre midfielders sort of thing, people, not the hybrids. You know, like I said, you know, Bruno be there for me. I'm sure. Who else did I say? I said Bruno. I guess you could throw Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne in there. Would you say Pogba, or is that one overdoing it? Maybe I'll throw Pogba in there, but I don't know how many goals Pogba's really got. But I'll throw him in there. I think Ndombele has the potential to be, but he's not that, so it's irrelevant. So yeah, you're scratching your head. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. To be fair with you, Souček, that's a shout. It don't matter. He's scoring goals. You know, it's booked goals, but that's a shout, Jack. Foden, shout. But Foden, you know what is? Foden's a goal scoring midfielder for me, but at the same time, he's not. He's someone I can see dictating play in the future. Ward-Prowse, shout. But is that goal scoring, or is it really set pieces? I'm not trying to water it down. I'm talking about people you really describe as goal scoring midfielders, not people that are having a good season. You know, I see Sandro say Maddison, shout. But you get the point. We're scratching our heads, people. We're here thinking about it. So we ain't got that. At our best, it's going to be Joe Willock right now. He's the nearest thing to that. And we all know he's not levels. I said Gundogan. You know, that's what I'm saying. Ward-Prowse is more set pieces more than anything. So it's not going to get us anywhere. You know, I would love Ruben Neves as well. To be fair, I'm not going to lie. I don't think Ruben Neves has developed as much as I saw him going to, but he's still a quality player. To be fair, Mount a shout. Mount as well. You know, Mount. But he plays all about the place, but he is one. So what? That's Mount, Bruno, including Souček, Pogba, you know, Gundogan, Kevin. Out of how many Premier League teams? That's about 6, 7. You know, we could throw a Ward-Prowse in there, but we're probably reaching a bit with that one. You know, Mount, if I haven't said it. So, you know, goal-scoring midfielders are a rarity. But when you ain't got goal-scoring midfielders, when you ain't got midfielders who, for me, for the technical level they have, ain't really... The IQ ain't really there. They don't look to dictate the tempo of the games by themselves and the rest of it. You know, when you ain't got another number 6, because I know Partey's more than that. He's a 6 and an 8, but primarily he was brought to this team to give us some physicality in the midfield. It's a catastrophe, really. And obviously, I hope this is why I want the scouts to do their job, because you don't always have to sign someone for big money. Surely scouts are doing their job. I do think genuinely we need 2 midfielders, or it's a myth, man. Mount a shout. Didn't even clock that. Easy, but he's not pure centre midfielder, though. Do you get it? You know, it's not. Let's try to talk about the midfielders. Wijnaldum probably doesn't score as much, but he is box to box. Yeah, there's not too many. And to be fair with you, if there is goal scoring midfielders out there, they're gonna cost top dollar. To score, the hardest thing to do is to score goals, really and truly. He's not in the Premier League, my guy. He's not in the Prem. You know, McGinn, not too sure he's got the goal scoring record. He is box to box. Grealish, bit different. He's a bit of a pure sort of midfielder. Kovacic is not a goal scorer. That's one thing he could do better for someone like him. I don't know if we need him back. I'll take Ramsey back, but I wouldn't cry if we don't. Pardon me. Get him. Goal scoring midfielders, people. Goal scoring midfielders. Off topic, Mo has said, thoughts on Jack Wilshere balling out for AFC Bournemouth brought a tear to my eye. Brought a tear to my eye because in the damn championship. But yeah, man, and you've heard rumours that Patrick Vieira is linked with them people. The Bournemouth one had an interview. So again, if he's linked with them, you know, Patrick Vieira goes there, Jack Wilshere's there. Like I said earlier, we might have to get some Bournemouth shirts, people. It gets like that. And I think they got rid of their last manager, Jason Tyndall, people. So we'll have to see what happens. But at least Jack Wilshere's first and foremost playing football, man. Or other than that, it's long for him, man. But yeah, man, it is what it is. Keep the questions coming, people. It's only 3:00. Madness. It's supposed to be on another live stream, but it's all good, people. Keep the questions coming. It's Friday, man. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Jack Wilshere. Carl, you lot are being silly, man. You lot are just saying bare names now. I know Jorginho scores free kicks scores penalties and that, but you're doing a lot. To be fair, McTominay's found his shooting boots this season, but let's be real, he's not a goal scoring midfielder. Let's be real. Pure midfielders, man. I don't really rate Almiron, and I'm not even gonna lie, man. I can't even lie. Bro, he's a baller, but he's probably going to cost a pretty penny. Big up Carrington. Havertz should be a goal-scoring midfielder / a creative man. It's not really happening, but I'll give you that one. But I'd say Bruno and Gundogan are the only ones right now, like, immediate thoughts, like, immediately right now sort of thing. So they're a rarity. we need a whole lot of surgery, man. And I want midfielders who complement each other. I don't really see. Obviously, Xhaka and Partey do all right as a partnership. Before that was El Nene and Partey, but I don't really see how they get the best out of each other. Because, you know, for Partey, I want someone that can play to a better standard than him, but can also more creative than him, but can also help him out defensively. So he has to be less reactive to other people. And the same for them. You know, if we had that and a couple of options to go with Smith Rowe and his emergence and Saka and that, we've got a good base. But whatever way around it, you know, midfield and defense is crucial. And when you look at our midfield, you don't know what it's about. It doesn't scream to you, you know, we're going to dominate possession and you can't get the ball. It doesn't scream we're gonna shut you out. You don't really know what it is. We've got a bunch of tools and you don't know how to use them, or better yet, what they're used for. So I think that's that one there, and that in really and truly, man. You could play Saka centre mid, to be fair. He's played 10 centre mid and the rest of it. So it is what it is. Enrico has said, Deluded, do you think Arteta needs to start looking more in the championship market? I feel we are missing a trick, especially with the signings of Cash, Eze and Watkins. I agree, but you know, the ones with the championship, you need to move for them very quickly, you know, or it's going to, you know, we were on to Ben Rama, you know the thing. Ben Rama, Watkins, I'm probably missing out another big money transfer signing from the championship. The level, it's a level playing ground now. Teams in the lower teams in the Prem, lower teams in the Championship, they don't need to get bullied, with the exception of Eze. I don't know how much Villa played Nottingham Forest for Cash. I think that's where Matty Cash was. I could be wrong. Watkins with big money, Eze was decent money. But yeah, man, I think you can look anywhere, talents everywhere. You just need to move quickly, man. Brad has said, your thoughts on Benassia partnering Partey? He'd cost a lot, but real quality. Brad, if you know me, you know I'm on the Benassia hype train, and he should have never left this football club. I think that's a perfect partner for him. I do think there's a lot Benassia needs to do better, but I think that's the perfect partner for him. You're fully right, man. And this is it, Sandro. He said it there. I can't add anything. Like you've said, we need players competent enough to adapt to different games and keep the level up. Simple as that. A lot of men have the engine but can't keep the standards high when it counts. Our squad and 11 depth is meaty. Facts. You know, we ain't got people who complement each other. We ain't got people who show consistency in that. You might boss it this game, next game you're looking booky. And for me, you've kind of indirectly said it. It's the mentality. I want midfielders who can sit there and say, all right, cool, this team are not going forward. It's a low block. I'm cutting this team open and setting up a Bamian or something. Too often than not, I'm seeing our midfielders just play hot potato. And for me, you need competency, like you've said. You need consistency, you know, and you need that confidence to actually be able to pick out that pass. Too many times you're passing the buck, sort of thing, man. What meal deal you going to get with this? Appreciate that, Jack. To be fair, I've had lunch, you know, but meal deal tomorrow. Tomorrow's a long time. What am I feeling? What meal deal? Tesco's thing. I'd say tomato and basil. You know me, I got to get that expensive. You know that expensive smoothie, you know? That £2.60 smoothie that's now becomes part of a £3 meal. I'll get that. Might get some Doritos. No, I always get fruit, but might get some Doritos. Love for that, my guy. Regardless, man. Sia said, would you still go after Buendia at the end of the season? Yeah, why not? You know, why not? But again, it all depends. If they get promoted, it makes it tougher. So we'll have to see, man. You know, and that's it. I do agree, Franklin. He did have the right mentality. He was hardworking. He was just, on the large face of it, inconsistent, man. Bro, you know them innocent smoothies. To be fair, they're on deal in Sainsbury's for like 150. I've been banging them out. There's no way on earth I'm buying that for normal price. They're lovely, but I don't have lovely money to be buying that. So yeah, love for that, my guy. Regardless, man has said, what about the academy? What about it? I'm not too sure. We're playing today against Manchester United, if that's what you want to know. Yeah, beyond that, I don't know. Should we see what our coach, Mikel Arteta, has had to say, people, in relation to Arsenal or Arsenal and Leeds? You know, because I've done a lot. We ain't spoken about his press conference, man. So if we do a little press conference reaction, people. Oh, sorry, people. So yeah, we'll do that press conference. Let me take one question quick before I get into there. PK said, what's up, Deluded? I hope you're good, PK. But yeah, let's see what Mikel Arteta himself has had to say, people. As you lot know, we're there for a weekend clash against Leeds United on Sunday. In relation to if there's updates on team news, he said, not really. We'll know more in the next 2 days on the injuries we have and how they're evolving and whether they'll be available for Sunday or the next game. Be patient because it looks like a lot of players are breaking down. First and foremost, indirectly, clearly that's about Tierney and Partey, and they're clearly going to miss against. I have small hope that we're being hoodwinked and they'll be involved against Leeds, but realistically, they're probably not going to be involved in any capacity against Leeds United. So we're hoping they can be involved in Benfica, and if not, we're in problems. And like he said, to be fair to Arsenal, a lot could be said about the incompetence of our medical staff, definitely, or the club, definitely, when we look at how we've handled Partey. But if you look across the board, let's be real, there's a lot of injuries. There's been a lot of injuries all over the league. Bale's got a mysterious injury. Calvert-Lewin's picked up a knock. Callum Wilson is out now. We've got our knocks. Obviously, they're all different, but indirectly, they're all byproducts of this maniac season, people. So yeah, people, it is what it is in that regards. I think Sandro's got a tip for you lot, people. If you're on your phone, move the screen up and it zooms in on the writing. So for those of you that need glasses, do your thing. It's a good thing Sandro's not a goalkeeper. I'm ribbing him. He's cool, man. Pause. But yeah, like you can see with Thomas Partey there, it is a difficult one. He felt something during the game and he didn't think it was too bad. But after the scan, looked a little bit worse. He won't be available to play against Leeds, and we'll see how it evolves in the next 2 days. But it's a muscular injury, so we need to really just keep him out as long as possible. We know Partey is going to be devastated to not be involved, so I'm not going to read that out to you lot. We know it's a big blow for us and how he's adapting to the league and how he's only played a handful of 90 minutes. On the competition between Leno and Matt Ryan, people, as you lot know, on one hand, I don't believe Leno should walk back into the team. I think one of the only players I couldn't have asked anything more of the keeper, Matt Ryan, based on the context. I think he's unlucky not to keep a clean sheet, unlucky not to win. He couldn't have done anything more, but at the same time, Leno is our best keeper. So, if Matt Ryan plays and he plays shaky, what we said, but there's definitely competition. I do think there's something to be said in Leno on the bench. But like he said, I think Matt played a really good game. And for the first time he played for us after so little training, I think he was really good. I like the way he reacted, because conceding that goal early on your debut so early and still reacting the way he did showed a lot of character from him. That's why we brought him in here, because he has to be an option and he has to keep pushing Leno. I'm not trying to get at Runnison because he's irrelevant, but the mentality, I don't think that's an indirect from Arteta, but indirectly I think that's an indirect, because one thing you could see with Runnison, he doesn't look confident in himself. On having a week on the training pitch, people, he said we couldn't work some days because of the snow and the conditions on the pitch. So we haven't exactly had a week to train, but the days we couldn't work on the pitch because of snow, could we go inside and do some analytical work, some gym work, some indirect team shape? There's always something we could do. We have had a week. We've had a week for these players individually to accept what's gone wrong. And I hope everybody, like I said against Wolves, like I said against Villa, I hope you all watch the Leeds game again. I hope you've been watching a couple of Leeds games in recent weeks, and I hope you watch the Arsenal versus Leeds game again, so you can remember exactly what happened, their strong points and areas to exploit, on top of the obvious reasons for us needing to win. So yeah, he said we reviewed a lot of things we've done in recent weeks and the reasons we've won a lot of games and the reasons we've lost in the last few games in a strange way when we didn't deserve to do it. It's completely down to us and what we have to do better. And that's it here. We're going to save ourselves, man. I agree. I do wonder what's going on. I do think there is a level of incompetence. It's no coincidence. Partey's barely injured for Atletico. He comes here and he can't buy fitness. There's something right, maybe that he's doing wrong, maybe something that we're not doing right or wrong, and there's maybe something we don't know that we know we're not doing wrong. Do you get it? We could be inexperienced in that regard. Maybe there was a trick Atletico were doing to keep him fit that we are not aware of. I don't know. In relation to our opponent on Sunday and Leeds, not that you guys can't know already, he said they are really brave. They are a really brave, dynamic, and attacking team. That is. We know this. So again, the players should heed this. We know they're brave. They attack from minute 1 to minute 90, regardless. We know they're dynamic. They high intensity. They run a lot. They work hard a lot. They've scored a lot of goals and they've scored a lot of good quality goals as well. They showed that from the first game of the season against Liverpool. We know that. I hope the players are taking heed of such. He said, I think they're really excited. They're a really exciting side, a great coach, great coaching staff who are all involved and a bunch of players who believe 100% in what they do. I'm not going to read the rest of that, but what do we expect? We know they're a siege mentality. We know they're all fighting for the cause. It's some Ragnar Lothbrok Viking sort of thing. The thing leads are on. They're on this. So we're going to need to be serious, people. In relation to Kieran Tierney, which for me is a bit of blow, he said, we have to see how the knee reacts when we start to get a bit more load. So again, depending on his training load and things. We have to see how his knee reacts to more high intensity workouts and football. He hasn't had much left, but he's really positive at the moment. He's in good spirits and he's desperate to get back to the team. We'll see in the next few days. The moment he starts to train with the team, we'll see how he's feeling and how he reacts. Obviously, it's frustrating not to have him, people. And Arteta spoke on that, so I'm not going to read that. In fact, we can. To be fair, we are getting used to it because we're missing so many players all the time, and this is why depth and bringing in quality depth for next season is vital. When we're looking back next season and we're reviewing the sheer amount of injuries, some of it can be attributed to just simply a crazy season. Some of it probably medical practices, and some of it is because we don't have the quality depth. So if we're learning from our mistakes for next season, hopefully this is something that we learn from. I don't remember we were all able to play the same 11 2 or 3 times. I can't think about it, but it is what it is. The players are making huge efforts. It is what it is. He must have been watching Deluded. Even the ones who are injured are willing to come back and play, and this is what we demand of them. And the players on the pitch had to give their best and make it difficult for the ones who want to get back in. This is what we are trying to do. And what he expects from Nicolas Pepe, again, that he can maintain that level for months, not weeks. So again, can you show us consistency for a long period? I think he's done much, much better. I think there's been a click in him. I've said that as well. I think that the penny's dropped, even in his mentality, how he's approaching every training session. So you can see it, it's about doing in every action, being serious. So it was a mentality thing. For all the things I said, people, the penny needs to drop. Only Pepe can take him out of this scenario. Obviously not playing to his strengths, adapting, all the luxuries, Arteta not feeling him. All these things were true. But the penny needs to drop. He needs to be serious. He needs to be more demanding. He needs a sense of urgency. He needs a sense of belonging. He needs to crave having a legacy. And I'm getting all of that from Pepe now. Like you can see, every training session, the importance of every action in the game, how he can sustain his focus and determination during games. I really like his attitude. So he's shown what he can do now. And this is in the same way Williams got able to play, and Arteta's always speaking about training. Maybe this will afford Pepe, whether he's played good or not, the luxury of being in the team now, because he's showing it in every action and all of these things. And like he said here, he's praised his attitude, he's praised his application, 2 things that regardless of your price tag you should be doing. He said what he's done in the last few weeks I think has been much better. He still has a lot of room to improve and grow, and he's willing to do that. So I'm expecting him to go to the next level very soon, and we all are. Not gonna listen. You lot are smart people. We all know about the social media abuse that we know it's not right. We know it should be condemned. We know it has no place in football. So I'm not gonna bore you lot with this. Arteta did say how he's actually been on the receiving end of abuse and his family members, which isn't nice at all, and we don't condone that. I don't need to speak about that with any of you lot people. You lot are sensible people. On if the league position can be explained by the number of absentees we've had, he said he don't know. I don't like to use any excuses. It is what it is. We have to adapt, and we have other players trying to do the job. But at certain moments, you need some consistency. You need a team that has to play, and you see all successful teams, you need some chemistry in your starting 11s, and to get that chemistry, that cohesion, that togetherness there, and we haven't been able to do that. It's the context, it's the situation, it's COVID, it's a strange year. We have no preseason. You did have a preseason of sorts. There's a lot of factors there, but I think still we could be in a much better place just looking at what we've done in games ourselves and what we've given away. And that's it. Winners take accountability. All of these things he's named are luxuries that we can be afforded, but we need to look at what we have done in that regards, people. Again, he's said he prefers not to speak about it. We don't condemn fair criticisms and praise of players, but we do our managers, but nobody likes to see abuse, definitely of family members. So I'm not going to read into that. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. When asked about Bielsa's murder ball in training, he said, yes, I've heard about it, I've seen it. Marcelo has some incredible methods. You just have to see the way the team plays and some of the things they do consistently, some of the habits that they have implemented throughout the game with such a conviction. There's a lot of things that young coaches like me can learn from people like him who have been in the game for a long time and have been really successful. Facts, and more facts. On Leeds using attack as the best form of defense, he said, when you look at a lot of the games they've lost and how they've lost them, it's pretty incredible as well. Maybe they haven't deserved those defeats. They've been punished on set pieces as well. It almost feels like me and Arteta know the thing, people, because what did I tell you lot in the preview? Set pieces, which is one key area. But overall, they've produced in open play compared to the opponent. They've produced in open play more than us. So be switched on defensively. It's difficult to see games where they've produced less than the opponent. And he's obviously spoke about being a Bielsa disciple. He's given him praise and whatnot. He was then asked on prioritizing the league or the Europa League, or the league. He said the priority is Leeds, and then we go back to Europe. Obviously, it's a competition that we know can give us access to what we want, the Champions League. There's still a long way to go, still a very strange year as well with the locations of where we're going to play those games. So let's go step by step, and that's facts, man. That's facts. That's absolute facts. You know, when asked on why Martinelli isn't playing games, he said, well, he came back and did really well, but then he picked up another injury. It took him a while to come back, and it's now getting him in his rhythm and getting his place back in the team like everyone else. Don't forget that we played him last time against Manchester United, and he started ahead of other players. So it's not like he's not having opportunities. We know that he's got huge potential. He's done some really, really good things since he's come back. He has a lot of things to develop in his game because, of course, at his age, it's normal. He came here for a different league, and physically it's much more demanding than the Spanish league. Not sure on the relevance the Spanish league has, but he said it. He got injured. He wanted to get back. He got back and he got injured again. So his rhythm has been in and out. And obviously, he spoke about a lot of stuff, and it's true, people. But, you know, we need to be patient with him. We need to let his body be ready, and then we'll do what we need to do. Martinelli should be in the starting lineup. On whether Balogun will leave at the end of the season, I've actually done an article on this, and it should be out today, people. I've sent it to someone to proofread, and my grammar and all them things there are appalling. Shout out to you because I know you're listening to this shit. It's going to get patterned for me, and then it'll be out for you guys. So I've offered my more extended, immediate thoughts on Balogun and his scenario. But for Arteta, when asked, he said, I'm still very positive that Flo is going to stay with us. And it's what we're trying to do as a club. And it's what I'm trying to do as a manager. As far as I know from last week, the player wants to be here. So I'm positive. I think he's made some big progress in a few months. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens, man. We'll have to see what happens in the Balogun scenario, man. Let's see what I on. Away from that, though, people. 1 second. Let me make sure I've put the timestamp. Sorry, people. And we're good to go again. A man said, I'm a Leeds fan. Are you? No, I'm not a Leeds fan. Leeds playing without proper centre-backs. No wonder set piece isn't top. To be fair, ain't been top since the start of the season, but we need to ask questions of that. Even more reason, man. I get the likes up, people. Get the likes up, man. I agree with that. We've won 9 games, lost 10. Liverpool have won 11 and are in the top 4. You know, and when you look at it like that, it's cool. It's fantastic. But I don't really care. I'm not getting at you, but I'm not looking at what Liverpool have done. I'm looking at Arsenal Football Club, and we've dropped a lot of stupid points. And even if we were to start winning every game, we're still relying on other people dropping points. So I do agree with you, but we need to do what we're doing. And you're right, man. At least we're not getting long-term injuries. The one saving grace, really and truly, you know. And that's one thing we need. And again, there's clearly something we're doing wrong with Partey. Because like you said, it's crazy how Partey has been injury prone since coming here. Couldn't remember a game he missed at Atletico. So there must be something we're doing or not doing in relation to looking after him. You know, it's not always the matches man get injured. So sometimes it's the build-up. It's what they're doing in the week. It's how heavy you're making them train. It's, you know, not everybody can train every day. Some man got to do recovery sessions. Some man got to do lighter sessions than other people. Certain people got to do the group sessions and do other things. Listen, that's all too complex for me. I've probably got to find someone to do an interview with who's a masseuse or a physio team, but I can comprehend that. So maybe there's something we're not doing in the week so that Partey is breaking down when he's playing games. Maybe there's something Atletico we're doing that we're not doing. I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with Partey, how he's not looking after himself or looking after himself. I don't know, but we need to get to the bottom of it, really and truly. Man said Ragnar Lothbrok, you know, Vikings is legit though. Only if you know, you know. If you know, you know. To be fair, yeah, it is more for injury related. It's a result of fatigue because we've had to use him ridiculously. So it makes sense, and that's again over reliance on players. Jason Martin has said, "Big up DG. What's been the bigger disappointment? Arteta getting rid of Martinez or Arteta signing Willian?" I'd say signing Willian. Really, I'd say signing Willian because we've seen absolutely nothing from Willian in that regards. It's as simple as that. We've seen nothing. Fair enough, he done his thing. He done his thing before that. He done his thing against Fulham, but prior to that, he's done air full really. So it is what it is. On that note, though, big up to everyone for making the likes matching. I'm gonna get out of here, people. I'm gonna be online with Hugh Izzy in literally 6 minutes. So I'm gonna get out of here, people. On that note, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and the rest of it. I'm out. DG Nation, people, and I'll see you lot later. Obviously, you know, I'll be here on Sunday, watch along business. I'll probably be back again tomorrow, so we'll have to see, man. But on that note, I'm out, people. Hit the like button. I'm gone, man.